I remember my teacher ended up walking up to me with this box full of her stuff that used to be in the classroom. And she told me, Baba, I got fired, so you're gonna come home with me. And I started freaking out. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a super embarrassing story. So today's story all takes place back when I was in high school, and this was my grade 12 year. Now, in grade 12 is usually the time where I focus on graduating and basically not staying in school anymore because I hated school. I am not joking. I was so excited to graduate just to become, well, I guess your next favorite YouTuber if you guys end up pressing that subscribe button, which I mean, you guys should because 86.6% of you guys didn't. But going on, in my grade 12 year, there was one class that was very popular, and that was my English class. Now in English, usually you just learn English and basically learn how to write essays and stuff, and I guess learn how to script write, and I guess basically tell a crazy story like I'm doing right now, except my stories are all real. But like I was saying, there was one time where my English teacher ended up actually getting changed throughout the middle of the year. So I remember the one time when I entered in class one day, I ended up sitting at my desk, and out of nowhere, this woman comes in that was really hot. Like, she was the hottest of all teachers, and she was super attractive. And I remember when I saw her, my mind was blown because there was no way teachers were getting more attractive over the years of me going through high school. Like, you guys know the amount of teachers I've done? It's actually insane. I remember though, when she came into the classroom, she ended up standing in front of the class, and instantly out of nowhere, she ended up looking at me directly in my eye and started introducing herself as if she was only talking to me. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I ended up falling in love. Like, this teacher was so drop dead gorgeous, I didn't even know what to think at the moment. I remember as class was going on, she kept basically, you know, talking about herself, and she really wanted us to get to know her, but every time she would talk about herself, she kept staring at me. And it got to the point where at first it was cute, but then it started getting really creepy. And what ends up happening next, I think really made me realize why she kept staring at me. When class went on and it was about to be over, I remember she ended up announcing something insane where she said, okay, everyone can leave the class, but Bubba, I was hoping you could stay back for a bit. Okay, is what I said back because I didn't know why she wanted me to stay in the class. So I remember as the bell rang and everyone ended up leaving the classroom, the teacher walks up to me and says, hey, Bubba, I'm just wondering, what's your nationality? Now, for some reason, she asked what my nationality was, and I ended up telling her how I was half Persian and half English. And she found this very hot for some reason, and she actually even said that word for word where she ended up saying, oh, that's really hot. Like, my ex-boyfriend was Persian. Now, I didn't know what to think. Like, when a teacher calls you hot, it really made no sense. And by the way, at the time, I was not 18 yet. I was turning 18. So for a 24-year-old woman to call me hot at 17, it's gotta be illegal. But I remember I just ended up thanking her because I didn't want to make things weird, and one thing led to another. She ended up actually asking for my phone. Now, I thought I was in trouble and she was just trying to play this good cop bad cop kind of teacher. So I ended up handing my phone, and I asked her, oh, like, when will I get my phone back? Oh, you'll get your phone right now. I just want to put my number in. Wait, what? Is what I said right after. And I had no idea what was going on. I guess automatically I ended up pulling this teacher by just telling her what race I was, which is very rare to do, by the way, in this day and age, knowing how crazy people are. But I will say this, my mind was blown. Later on, I remember I ended up getting up and actually leaving the classroom. And when I did, all my friends were questioning why I got held back. And I ended up telling them what happened, but none of them believed me, which is no surprise because let's be real here, the things that happen in my life are really unbelievable. But at the same time, I didn't know what else to say. So I ended up basically going through the school day, basically in my mind, wondering how in the world this thing just happened. But as I was thinking about it in my next class, I ended up getting a text message saying, Bubba, can you meet me at the stairwell outside? Right now? Is what I texted her back. Yeah, like right now, like we need to like talk about something. I ended up wondering what my teacher needed to talk about with me, and I ended up basically actually putting my hand up and asking my teacher that I was actually in the class for that I need to go to the bathroom. He ended up letting me go, and I ended up heading straight to the stairwell where the teacher wanted to meet me. And when I got there, it was the most mind-blowing thing ever because right as I got to the stairwell, I ended up entering through the door and closing it behind me, and this teacher pops out of nowhere behind the door. She looks at me and says, Bubba, I just want to say you're the most beautiful person ever, and like, you're so hot. And she ended up basically coming close to me and actually ended up kissing me. Now, she only kissed me, by the way, which, I mean, doesn't make it sound any better, but I was in shock wondering what in the world was happening. Like, was this something normal that she did to students? Would she naturally just rizz up students and kiss them for some reason? And at that moment, I actually felt super uncomfortable, and I basically pushed her off saying, yo, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I've been through this before, and I don't think this is a good idea because you could get fired and you're my teacher. Like, it's just not right. She ended up looking at me with a sad face, but then she ended up smiling after saying, well, what if I wasn't your teacher? And at that moment, I ended up looking at her saying, well, I mean, yeah, if you weren't my teacher, then sure, 100% things could work, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen because that's your job. And I ended up going away. I walked away and I basically left. Yes, the teacher was gorgeous, and yes, usually I would do the devil's tango with the teacher, but I'm gonna be honest here, at this moment in time, my main focus in school was graduating, which everyone in grade 12 should be focusing on. I remember when I headed back to my original classroom, I ended up doing my own thing, and I noticed throughout the hallway, I saw the teacher that kissed me earlier walk by and actually started heading towards the office. And I had no idea why she went to the office, but like 20 minutes later, when she came out of the office, she came out with a smile. And I knew something was up, but I didn't know what. I remember it was the end of the school day, and the school day was over. And being the end of the school day, usually what I would do is go to my locker and just get ready to head straight home. So that's what I did. I ended up basically getting my backpack and stuff from my locker, and I started heading down the school hallway to where the parking lot was because at the time I had a car. And when I walked up to my car, I saw that the teacher ended up putting a box of her stuff on top of my car, and she was standing on the side. And when she saw me, she ended up grabbing that box, walking up to me with all the stuff from the classroom in the box, telling me, Baba, I quit my job for you, so I'm not your teacher, so let's go on a date. Wait, what? You got fired? Is what I ended up asking her. And then she told me, well, yeah, you told me you wouldn't date me if I was your teacher, so let's date. Like, we can do it now. Like, we can go on a date, and I'm not your teacher, so it won't be weird. I ended up telling her how I was 17 and stuff, and how this was totally wrong and severely illegal. And she told me how it wasn't illegal because she wasn't my teacher, and we kind of got stuck in this huge situation where, I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt super uncomfortable. And all I ended up doing was basically taking the box of stuff that she had. I ended up going back into the school, and I ended up telling my principal the whole situation. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, if I got caught with one more teacher at my school, I was definitely gonna get expelled. But honestly, one thing I will say, I'm happy that teacher never talked to me again. But if you guys want to date this teacher, my suggestion would be follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.